All right. Well, good afternoon, fans. Welcome in here on audiosportsonline.com. I'm Rob Kendall, along with Lex Zorn. It is our 5th and 6th grade championship, our final game of the day, as the Ohio State Buckeyes will take on the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan's out there on the field. Been out for a while. We're waiting the arrival of Ohio State. We've already had 2 champions so far today. In the 3rd grade game, it was the Notre Dame Fighting Irish being victorious, and then in the 4th grade game, Air Force defeated Navy. So one more game to go here today. We are about 9 minutes away from getting that started for you. And Lek, it's been an exciting first 2 games. This one should hold up to that.
Yes, indeed. This is always one of my favorite days of the year as a sports commentator, where we get a look into the far future of the programs here at Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern High Schools, the 2 schools here in the lovely community of Fishers here in the northeast suburbs of Indianapolis. And, it's programs like these that, these youth programs that help get these kids ready to play high school ball in a few years, get them familiar with the fundamentals of football, start on their physical conditioning, start on their teamwork, because these kids, they're, classmates now in elementary school and will be someday in middle school and high school and teammates as well. So, this is, a very, important program. I mean, high school football programs would not exist if they're not for youth programs like this. So it's great that the fine people here in Fishers give this platform for us to broadcast the youth championship games every year. For a long time it was a quadruple header. Now it's reduced to a triple header. We had the 3rd grade game earlier to kick off the day, and then we had the 3rd grade game first, and then the 4th grade game. Now we've got the 5th and 6th grade game. For a long time that we had separate 5th and 6th grade games. Now the 5th and 6th grades are one team together. And, one thing that I expect is going to be a lot different in this game, in the 3rd and 4th grade games, you had a lot of kids who were multitasking, playing both sides of the ball. Now we've got, much bigger rosters here in the 5th and 6th grade team as you're combining the 2 grades. So I think we're going to start to see a lot more specialization as these coaches now have had a chance to look at these kids for 2 or 3 years in youth football and figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are and where they can best help this program over the years. So anyway, right now we got 6:34 to go here on the pregame clock. Let's take a look at what's happened up to now. Back in the 3rd grade game, Michigan and Notre Dame were tied, Michigan State and Notre Dame were tied at the half at 20, but then Notre Dame totally dominated the second half, running off 21 unanswered points to win 41-20. Then in the 4th grade game, Navy and
Air Force.
Air Force, yes. Air Force had a barn burner going at the half with Navy leading 13-12. However, Air Force got the ball first to start the second half and consumed 6 minutes and 47 seconds of the clock and capped off the drive with a score to pull ahead, and then went on to win by a score of 27-13. So we had a similar scenario in both games. Each game was very tight for a half before one team pulled off to a shutout in the second half. So hopefully this one will be tight all the way and we'll have a down-to-the-wire thriller. But we'll see. Nevertheless, it's great to have this event here, in Fishers to celebrate and recognize how hard these kids are working toward being high school football players in a few years, and that we're able to bring these games to you worldwide on the internet here on audiosportsonline.com, and all of the games will be archived on YouTube as for you to watch forever, anytime. So if you're a grandparent or an aunt or uncle of one of these kids, or just a fan or a friend, we're delighted to have you with us. And okay. And now for the national anthem. Well, thank you to Hamilton Southeastern for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. We are coming at you live from TCU Field on the campus of Hamilton Southeastern High School here in Fishers, Indiana, one of the two schools in the city, the other being Fishers High School, which is only 3 miles away and which was actually carved out of the Hamilton Southeastern District back in 2006, creating one of the great rivalries in the state between the two schools. Each school has a state championship in its history. Hamilton Southeastern won the Class 1A state championship all the way back in 1981. Yes, Hamilton Southeastern was a 1A school. The city of Fishers has grown dramatically in population since then, from less than 3,000 to over 100,000. So much so that not only did the school move up all the way to 5A and now 6A, but that the district was carved in two 14 years ago. And since then, Fishers has gone on to win a state championship of their own back in 2010. And each team remains regularly in the top 10 in the state. So, obviously, one of the reasons that they've had so much success is because they have great youth football, which is one of the most essential ingredients to a successful high school program. And all of the teams here in this league, in the youth league, they're all named after college teams. The first game, like I said, was Michigan State and Notre Dame. Second game, Air Force and Navy. Now this game, Michigan and Ohio State. So the Big Ten and the service academies dominating today. And we've had good turnouts, especially considering not so great weather. The temperature has hovered around 50 degrees. We did have some rain this morning. Thankfully, it stopped before the game and has continued despite the heavy clouds in the sky, the rain has not continued, and so we've been able to play these games in dry conditions. And we have some kind of artificial surface there here in Hamilton Southeastern. Most of this is my 9th year of commentary. I've commentated at about 40 high school stadiums, and I think all but about 3 or 4 have had some sort of artificial surface, which artificial surfaces have become much softer, much safer in recent decades, thankfully. And I'll tell you, I'm, to put this in perspective, I'm 49 years old now, and I remember, I'd forgotten because it's been so long, but from grade to grade, how much bigger all the kids would get. Like I remember, for example, I went to an elementary school where it went from kindergarten to 6th grade, and I remember the discrepancy in the sizes of the kids from grade to grade. And now that I've been out of high school for 31 years now, and I come back and see these games every year. I'm reminded of that difference. I saw a pretty big difference in size between the 3rd and the 4th grade kids, and now you look at the 5th and 6th graders, and it's even more dramatic. So. Now, the way that the games were played under 3rd and 4th grade rules, we had 8-minute quarters. The dimensions were modified so that the sidelines were closer together, and there were no kickoffs. Each team began every offensive possession at their opponent's 40-yard line. So to the extent that one half of the field was never occupied, and there were actually kids playing an informal game of football on the other side of the field, while we had the official games going on the other side of the field. But anyway, now they have the clock set for 8 minutes, so apparently they have 8-minute quarters here. They've varied it from year to year. I remember when I first started covering this event 4 years ago, they had 6-minute quarters for the 3rd graders, and I believe 7 minutes for the 4th graders. So now looks like they're running everybody at 8. I know. Rob and I commentate a lot of freshman and JV ball for Avon and Plainfield. Freshman ball, 9-minute quarters, JV, 10-minute quarters, and, of course, varsity is 12 minutes. So anyway, it's great to be here. This is always one of the days on my sports commentary calendar that I look forward to the most. And I hope you all will keep on having us out here to bring it to you every year.
And kudos to all the folks at Mudsock Youth Football who have done such a great job putting this on today. And most importantly, Lek, They're right on time.
Yes, that's right. So now 4:01 p.m. your time of day. Getting ready for the first play from scrimmage here. Michigan has the ball first, so they are starting possession not on their opponent's 40 as in the third and fourth grade games, but at their own 40. So now you got 60 yards to go instead of 40. So had 2 championships crowned, 1 more to go. So hopefully we'll have a barn burner of a game. We've had 2 games so far with outstanding first halves, and then with one team pulling away in the second half. And hopefully this will be the best game of the day, but we'll see. Always great to be here for this great event. And we thank you all for entrusting us to bring it to you. Hopefully it'll continue for many more years. And, give us a look at the future of the Hamilton Southeastern Royals and Fishers Tigers. So now and now it looks like they're getting ready to begin here. We have a 3-man officiating crew. So, and unlike for the first 2 games, we actually have paper rosters now, both Rob and I. So Michigan with the ball. And the ball goes to Grady Wofford, who takes it up for about 2 yards. And, I remember when I was a kid, there was a sitcom called Sanford and Son. One of the main characters on the show was named Grady. And that was the first time I ever knew about it as a first name instead of a last name. Now I've noticed it's starting to become popular as a first name amongst today's youth, as Wofford gets 1 yard on the first play of the game. So now Michigan State 2nd and 9 at their own 41. So handoff again. This time it gets more, and he backs up and then drives forward again on second effort. Gets about 5 yards off the carry. So that was Hudson Tambasco for the Wolverines. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for Michigan. 2 rushes, 1 of 1 yard, and then 1 of 5 yards. So now the Wolverines line up a quarterback in shotgun. We've got 1 receiver, Harrison Goshorn, lined up to the right, and then 2 running backs. Now a handoff again. He's got the possibly the first down. It's going to be real close.
And they will say, yes, that was good enough for a first down.
So Tambasco with the second consecutive carry gets up 4 yards for that one. So 3 rushes, and the Wolverines advance the ball to the 50 and move the chains. 6:27 to go and counting here in the first quarter of the final game of our triple header.
This is the first time today, actually, that we've had the camera on the north side of the field.
Yes.
It's in the south side the whole day because the 3rd and 4th graders played all on the south side of the field. So first time the camera's gone left today.
That's right. So now, once again, we've got Goshorn lined up to the right. And now a handoff there, and let's see. He got up about 1 yard. That was Wofford again with his second carry of the game. It went for 1 yard. His first one also went for 1. So it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Wolverines now in Buckeye territory. And so now the Wolverines in huddle. And, being a Midwesterner and a Big Ten guy, I feel sentimental watching these 2 teams here. That's Michigan-Ohio State was long one of my favorite games to watch in college football every year. The good old days of Bo Schembechler, Woody Hayes, and all those guys. So now the quarterback tries to take it, but he's brought down for a sack. That's William Johnson, by the way, is the quarterback for the Wolverines. And he's brought down for 3 yards there, so that'll bring up 3rd and about 12 for the Wolverines there. So no score here in the first game. The first 2 games were very high scoring, 41-20 and 27-13. 3rd and 13 now for Michigan. Once again, we've got Goshorn lined up to the left, and looks like we've got Wofford and Tambasco in the backfield. Now a pitch back to Tambasco, and he gets up forward for about 4 or 5 yards, but he's going to be well short of the first down. It'll be 4th and long. They're going to mark him down at the 48, so he does pick up 5. Tambasco off to a pretty good start here with 3 for 14. We've seen a slew of good running backs so far today in the 3rd and 4th place games.
So they're going to declare it a punt, and then the way they do it here is there's a designated yard marker that the ball will go to if you declare a punt.
Okay. So yeah, that's I think that's a new rule. I don't remember that from past
years.
Yeah,
they've had that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they've I know some of the rules have changed, but I don't remember that one. But anyway, nevertheless, the Buckeyes, Buckeyes with the ball now at their own 25, 4:12 to go. So Michigan on their first possession moved the chains once and then declared a punt.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you're a big football fan, you're probably not too familiar with the phrase "declared a punt," but you'll probably hear it a few times today.
It must be a total yardage. Is that it? 25 yards?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So it's 25 yards from wherever you're at. I was going to say, if you could just declare at the 25-yard line and you're all the way back at your own 10, that's a pretty good punt.
Yeah. So now first play up for about 7 yards.
Yeah, all the way up to the 30.
So who was that on the – did you catch the number of the guy who ran?
I did not.
Okay, thank you. So yes, Sam Gronk Sponseller. Part of the charm of this Ohio State roster is that each player is given a nickname. So Sponseller with 7 yards there. And now he gets it again. He's got the first down and more up to about the 40 or 41.
You can just tell sometimes old Gronk there is going to be pretty hard to take down throughout the course of the day.
Got him down to the 30, so the chains move for the Buckeyes. So Sponseller, 2 rushes, 18 yards, are already looking very promising. So you can bet that he's going to be playing high school ball in a few years. Don't know what the significance of the name Gronk is, but it's an interesting nickname. Has some commercial potential.
I think that's Gronkowski.
Oh, okay. I got you. I see. So now he gets past the 50 up to the 44.
Yeah, so the game plan for Ohio State early on at least seems pretty simple. Give it to Gronk and get out of the way.
Yeah, 3 for 33 to start off the game. And unfortunately, the color scheme of Ohio State makes it hard to read their numbers when you have gray on red, but we will do the best we can. So anyway, 3 minutes even now. 1 receiver lined up to the right, 2 running backs. Sponseller's gotten it every play so far. And
that time I want to say it was 24. We'll see.
Okay,
yep, 24.
Varshawn Clark, that's Varschon. That's a new name for me. And he picks up 2 yards there. But, yeah, I like them switching it up, You keep, giving it to the same guy every time, chances are the defense is going to get a stop, so you got to try to throw the defense off guard once in a while. 2:24 to go and counting. Still no score here in the first quarter. The 5th and 6th grade championship game here. And now handoff again, but this time they're right on top of him, and he's brought down for just a short gain. Was that Sponseller again?
Yes.
Okay. So they give him credit for 2. So I got 4 for 35 now. That was the first time that was the shortest gain of his so far in the evening. So now we got 1 receiver out to the right, 2 running backs, quarterback in shotgun. And we got some movement at the line, but no flag. And now a rush for about 3 or 4 yards. So it'll bring up 4th and short. So that was Clark again with his second run. So they give him credit for 3, so it'll be 4th and 3 for the Buckeyes. Looks like they will go for it here. Sponseller wears number 80. Clark wears number 24. They do have a receiver lined up right, so don't be surprised if we see a pass at some point here. But this one is a pitch back, and he's, I believe that was Clark again, and he's brought down about a yard short.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to get it there for a second, but that nice job on tackling. I think that was big 65 for Michigan that made that hit and really roped him to the ground. Andrew Adamson, as it looked like he was going to get that first down, but Adamson said, no, sir.
Yes, and one thing, Rob, I just noticed, is that you look at, like in the first two games, all the crowds were congregated over on this side of the bleachers, and now they're mostly in the middle.
Yes, they're right below us.
Yeah, so quite a difference it makes when you play both sides of the field. So now you don't have any kids playing on the field now, except for those, of course, who are in the official game. So now Michigan on their first drive just got one first down, and then on fourth down declared a punt. Their quarterback is William Johnson, wears number 80, quite unusual number for a quarterback. Takes it himself on a fake handoff, and he gets up for about 4 or 5. And they mark him right at the 40, so it'll bring up 2nd and 6 for Michigan. And on their first drive, Wofford and Tabasco got all the rushes. And then meanwhile, Harrison Goshorn lined up to the left again.
I don't think they're going to get this playoff here. 2-1-0.
No, we don't. So after one quarter of play here in the 5th and 6th grade championship game, Michigan and Ohio State, still no score. Coming at you live on AudioSportsOnline.com. This is the annual Fishers Hamilton Southeastern Youth Football Championships.
Yeah, and again, thanks to all the folks at the Mudsock Youth Football League for allowing us to be out here and do the games again this year. I think this is either our 7th or 8th year doing these. I think that's right.
I know that my first was 2016.
Yeah.
But I know you've been doing it before that, so.
Yep, I think that's what it was, and I'll have to go back this year and figure that out. But thank you for allowing us to be out here and do this, and thank you to the officials are doing a tremendous job. They've done a great job throughout all these games so far today. And,
yes.
We get to be up here in the climate-controlled environment, like they've had to be down there on the field where it's cold.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I have a feeling this is going to be a very cold winter based on how cold the early autumn has been. But, I've been wondering something. Rob, you and I have both been commentating events up here at Hamilton Southeastern for many years. Of course, they're known as the Royals, but I've always wondered, what is that thing in the middle of the field? What kind of creature is that? It doesn't look like royalty to me.
I would guess it's like a wolf maybe of some sort.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, definitely an interesting contrast between their name, between the team nickname and their mascot there.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So now, starting the second quarter here at Fishers on TCU Field, 2nd and 6 at the 40. Michigan has the ball, still no score. We've had 2 champions crowned already in the youth league, and now a third one will be in about an hour or so. First play is a rush for about a yard.
Short gain that time.
Yes, so that was Grady Wofford with his third carry of the game. He picks up 1 yard. He's picked up 1 yard on each of his 3 carries in this game. So 3rd and 5 for the Wolverines. They declared a punt last time. So once again, Goshorn, I believe Harrison Goshorn is lined up as a wide receiver on every Michigan offensive play. So chances are there'll be something thrown to him eventually, but so far no passes in the game for either team. And now quarterback keeper, but they got him for a sack. So presumably they will. That's the second time that Johnson's been sacked today. Second time he's been sacked today. So very likely that the Wolverines will declare another punt. And now we've got an injury. We got a player for Michigan. It is Andrew Adamson down. He's rolling around, appears to be in pain. And one of the personnel waving all of the players away from the scene. So hopefully this is not serious. You don't ever want to see any injuries at all. And he's one of the two personnel now are talking to him. But anyway, while we have this breaking the action, let's get you caught up on to what's happened so far today here at Hamilton Southeastern High School in the third place championship game. Earlier today, to start off the action, Notre Dame beat Michigan State by a score of 41-20 after the game was tied at 20 at the half. And then in the second game, Air Force ended up beating Navy by a score of 27-13 after trailing 13-12 at the half. So both games you had a very tight first half, and then one team ran away with it and got a shutout in the second half. Now here in the third and final game of our triple header, we have no score between Michigan and.
Now, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these are the same officiating crew. I think these guys do this every year, and usually during the final game they start playing pass with each other. So
okay,
I haven't seen that yet. Hopefully, based on the fact that they're doesn't appear like they're too. Super concerned. It doesn't look like they've called for an ambulance or anything. Maybe just a
and the player is trying to sit up.
Sprained ankle or something.
Yeah, probably something like that. Yeah, and again, the injured player is Andrew Johnson. He wears Andrew Adamson. Excuse me, Andrew Adamson. He wears number 65 for Michigan. He was starting to sit up. Now he's lying flat on his back. Meanwhile, the chain gang has already moved the chains. So apparently, Michigan, for the second time in as many possessions to start off the game, has declared a punt, which means that Ohio State will take over 25 yards back, so that would put them at their own 38 to start their second possession. Their first one actually was very promising as Sam Sponseller gained 33 yards on his first 3 carries. However, then the Buckeyes stalled and turned the ball over on downs inside the Michigan 40. So anyway, this is an annual event that now Adamson stands up and he's being walked off the field with personnel on both sides. He is limping, but getting a nice ovation from this crowd, and so hopefully he will be okay. We've had, it's usually we have, I'd say, a little more attendance than this. We've had some really nice weather for this game, at least the couple of times that I called it before. Not terrible weather today, but certainly less than ideal, from a fan's perspective. You'd like to have it around 65 or 70 as it is. It's been hovering around 50 today. And now we got a flag here, the play whistle dead. So it'll be 5 yards against Ohio State here. And now the temperature here in Fishers, it's coming up 52 now. It's supposed to have a high of 53 today. But yeah, usually, I would say we have probably, between of course, usually I'd say between all the games, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 600-700, maybe, a good year closer to 1,000. Today's not been quite as much, but probably, still in the 300-400 range, who have been here at some point today. And now we got so 2 consecutive flags now here in this game, 6:27 to go. This one's against Michigan State, so I guess against Michigan, excuse me. So Ohio State gets back the 5 yards they lost, so it once again is 1st and 10 as Ohio State starts their second drive. Sam Sponseller, better known as Gronk. And by the way, each player now Each player has a nickname on the roster here for Ohio State. I'll try to get to him here in a few minutes. And now a handoff, and he's stopped around the line of scrimmage. That was Varshon Clark, Varschon. And he stopped dead in his tracks right at the line of scrimmage. Clark 4 for 7 in this game. Sponseller 4 for 35. 5:40 to go and counting here in the second quarter. Still no score in the 5th and 6th grade championship game between Ohio State and Michigan. The Buckeyes have the ball 2nd and 10 now at their own 38. Now a pitch back. He's got some room at the 40. Got a hold 45, 50, and he's still on his feet past the 45 up to the 44. So that's going to be a gain of 18 yards there by Sponseller. So that gives him 5 for 35 on the game. And last time the Buckeyes got inside the 40 before turning it over on downs. Now they're up to the 44.
Ohio State doing a nice job of running the ball here.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, in fact, all 9 of their plays from scrimmage have been rushes. And now a pitch back there to Clark. He's got a hole past the 40, past the 35. He's got a first down around the left side. He could go all the way. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Varshon Clark, 44 yards for the touchdown. Nearly a quarter and a half into this game, we finally get our first score, and on a spectacular rush there. Clark, first 4 carries, only 7 yards. He got 44 on that one.
Yeah, nice job that time, Leck. He got the corner, and he was just off to the races, and nobody was going to catch him.
So a dynamic 2-man rushing attack of Clark and Sponseller for Ohio State. All 10 Buckeye offensive plays have been rushes, gone for 86 yards, and now a touchdown. So it looks like the conversion rule is going to be the looks like the conversion rule is going to be the same. It looks like the Buckeyes are going to go for a 2-point conversion here from the 5. And now it fakes the handoff, and throws it into the middle, and he's got a catch there.
What a nice job, number 80 that time to go up and get it for Ohio State.
So Sponseller, yeah. So Sponseller, after 5 rushes, now gets a 2-point conversion reception. And, the great thing about, I remember, Rob, the old Danville football coach, Russell Sumner, was known for going for 2-point conversions heavily. And his feeling was that he wanted to force the teams to make the extra play. And so that's certainly, something that, can be a very much to your advantage. And we saw in the first 2 games, I didn't keep track, but the bulk of the conversions were missed. So when you do make one, especially a 2, that really helps. And that means that even if Michigan State gets the touchdown, now they have the burden of answering it and getting the 2-point conversion also. And I don't know what the stats are here in 6th grade ball, but probably below 50%. So the decision, the gamble works off for the Buckeyes here. 4:40 to go and counting here in the second quarter. Your score, Ohio State 8, Michigan 0. And now a handoff, and he's up for about 2. That was Wofford again. That was his 4th carry of the game. Grady Wofford, number 44 for the Wolverines. They give him credit for 2. He had a 1 on each of his first 3. So now the Wolverines break huddle. Once again, they keep on lining up with Harrison Goshorn out to the right, and then the backfield combination of Wofford and Tabasco. William Johnson is the quarterback. Now handoff, and he's up for about another 2, so it's going to be 3rd and long. That was Wofford again. 3:43 to go and counting in the quarter. He only picks up 1 on that carry. Tabasco's had better success on the ground. He's 3 for 14. So not much variance in the formations that the two teams are running so far. And now, Goshorn tried to line up about a yard in front of the ball, and then was waved back by the official. So now, the good job. Wow, outstanding timing. They gave it to Tambasco, and he was hit in the backfield for a loss. They knocked him back to the 40 now.
And now it's 4th, and we're going to have a punt here because it is 4th down.
So for all 3 possessions in this game, Michigan has declared a punt. They've only moved the chains once so far. So if Ohio State gets a touchdown here, and especially if they get 1 or 2 conversion points, then Michigan is already going to be in a very deep hole. 2:58 to go now in the half, and keep in mind that Ohio State gets the ball first to start off the second half. Very fast-moving first half here, 4:27 your time of day. This game only started about 24 minutes ago. We've almost completed a half, 8-minute quarters. So now, pitch back. It's got some room. That's Sponseller again. He gets it up to about the 80. About to the 40, excuse me. He wears number 80, gets it to about the 40. So Sponseller, 6 carries, 40 yards now for the Buckeyes. 2nd and 5 at the 40 now, 2:22 to go. Ohio State trying to take a 2-possession lead into halftime, then make it a 3-possession lead on the first possession of the second half. And now another handoff, and it looks like he's got a first down here. That was Clark there, who had the 44-yard touchdown rush on the last possession. He's 6 for 56 now in the game, and they move the chains again. At the 45 now. Now handoff again, this time to Sponseller, and he gets up for about 6 or 7. Sponseller with 7 carries. Clark has 6, accounting for all of the offensive plays. They give him credit for 7 on that one. So Ohio State, 13 rushes, 103 yards, 1 touchdown, 1:42 to go. I believe they have all of their timeouts, so there's still a full range of options. Now pitch back to Clark. He's got some room on the left side. Past the 40. He's got the first down and more past the 35 up to about the 34. That's a gain of about 15 yards for Varshawn Clark.
Timeout going to be called by Ohio State. An arm tackle that time got him, Lack. He could have gone all the way, but somebody got him with an arm tackle on the far side of the field. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, and nevertheless, Clark averaging a little over 10 yards a rush. 7 carries, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. Sponseller, 7 for 47. So anyway, it's right now, let's look at what the nicknames of the Ohio State players are. There's Rock, Yo, Fresh, Kane, Chopper, Broadway, Iceman, Uber, Brutus, Bill, that's kind of an odd name for a nickname, Spirit, Nut, Bo, and Gronk. So,
what was your name in elementary school, Leck?
I never had a nickname. People just called me Steve or Steven, so, yeah. And, that's if I had played, past Little League, I wonder what kind of nickname I would have gotten. But there are some good ones there. And, by the way, the guy whose nickname is Bill, he's listed as Maverick Finwall. So I guess, since he had such an unusual first name, I guess, maybe as a joke somebody gave him like a really common everyday name as a nickname. It's interesting. So anyway, that definitely makes it a little more colorful here. And by the way, breakdown of the 6 teams who are in the championship games today. 3 from the Big Ten, 2 from the service academies, and then Notre Dame. The only Indiana name that managed to get here into a championship game. I'd like to see a list of all the teams in all the leagues. But anyway, Ohio State now 1st and 10 at the Michigan 34, trying to take a 2-possession lead here. 1:31 to go here in the half. Now
direct snap.
Yeah. So it's going to be close to a first down.
Looks like they're going to be about a yard short, so the clock will continue to run. 1:20 left to go in the first half.
So Sponseller with his 8th carry of the game. This one goes for 9 yards. And now another rush. He's got the first. So that's Clark now. So they keep on alternating from Sponsiller to Clark. Give him 3 yards on that one. So right now, he'll hold that thought. 1:03 to go and counting. Ohio State now 1st and 10 at the 22. Now gives the handoff this time, and he's up inside the 15, close to the 10. So that's Clark that time. And now
Oh, it's a fumble, and Michigan ended up with the ball with 50 seconds to go.
God.
Wow.
What a huge lucky break. I didn't see the ball come out from my vantage point, but wow. Oh, my God, what a huge break for the Wolverines when they're about to go down, not only go down by 2 possessions going into the halftime, but with Ohio State then getting the ball first to start the second half and possibly take a 3-possession lead that would basically put Michigan out of it. Now the Wolverines still with a fighting chance here.
Now we'll see what Michigan elects to do here, because obviously they are deep in their own territory, and I would assume they'll just run a couple plays here, count their blessings, and go into the half down just a score.
I would think so, but we shall see. They'll probably, they still line up the same formation, but anyway, pitch back now, and he's brought down for just a yard or 2.
Yeah, that Ohio State offensive line and defensive line, they've been dominant really on both sides of the ball, Leck.
Oh, yeah, they clearly look like they're the better team as Tambasco is stopped for a gain of just 1. He's 5 for 12 now, leading Michigan. The Wolverines, have run 12 plays so far in this game compared to 17 for Ohio State. 23 seconds in counting. This likely the last play of the half. Michigan probably just going to be content to go into the locker room with a one-score deficit.
Yep, and that will do it. That'll be our final play of the first half. So we will take a pause. We will come back. Second half, 5 minutes from now. It's Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State leads it 8-0.
Okay, so there's one more play in the half. So they had called timeout, and now Michigan's got something here, and he gets up for about 3 yards there. He had a little bit of space there, but not then was brought down. So that was William Johnson there for 3 yards, and now it's the halftime once again. So we'll be back in a few minutes here with the thrilling conclusion of this 5th and 6th grade championship game on AudioSportsOnline.com.
All right, here we go, Leck. 1 half left. It's an 8-0 Ohio State lead. They'll have the ball to begin the second half.
That's right. Yeah, we 5/6 of our bonanza here is now in the books. We started off with the third grade championship game with Notre Dame beating Michigan State by a score of 41-20. Then in the fourth grade championship game, in a battle of the service academies, Air Force beat Navy by a score of 27-13. Now halfway through this fifth and sixth grade championship game in a battle of Big Ten teams, Ohio State is leading Michigan by a score of 8-0. It's been an entirely rushing-dominated game. 31 plays from scrimmage in the game, and 17 by Ohio State, 14 by Michigan, all rushes. Ohio State has dominated big time. They have 141 yards from scrimmage. Michigan, 26. Michigan very lucky that Ohio State only has a one-possession lead here. It should have been two, but in the final minute of the first half, Varshawn Clark, who earlier had a 44-yard touchdown rush for Ohio State, fumbled the ball, and Michigan recovered at the 11, keeping them still within striking distance. However, they moved the chains only once in the first half, so they're going to have to get a defensive stop and get some offense going here. 8-minute quarters here in elementary school ball. That's been the length for all of the games. So, all of the games, all three games today. This is an annual event here. The youth program of Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern here. So now, rush there, and I believe that was that was Sponseller again. In the first half, he was 8 for 56. He starts off getting 3 on that one.
Yeah, and again, one of the things Ohio State did, and keep in mind, like they also had that big turnover late in the first half, but one of the things they did really well was dominate the time of possession and the offensive and defensive lines. They probably feel like they should be up more than just one score.
Yeah, they should. They should be up 2 scores now. And they probably would be had it not been for that fumble. So nevertheless, a chance to take a 2-possession lead here. And now it's going to be close to the first down there, and that was Varshawn Clark. And all Ohio State has done on offense all game is alternate between rushes to Sponseller and Clark, and with good reason. It's been very effective. They combined for 141 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Now Clark picking up another 5 on that one, trying to redeem himself for the fumble. So now 3rd and 2. It would be huge for Michigan if they stopped a first down here. So let's see. And now handoff. They got the first down and more up to about the 44 there. That'll be a gain of about 8 there for Sponseller. And, Rob, not only the fumble at the 11, but also remember on Ohio State's first possession, they got inside the 40 and turned it over on downs. So that's really, they could easily be up by 3 possessions now as they give Sponseller credit for 7 yards there and the first down. 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes at the Michigan 45 here. 6:20 to go in the third quarter. Ohio State 8, Michigan 0 in the 5th and 6th grade championship game. And now a rush there for about 3 yards there. So.
Yeah, one of the other things too, Leck, it's really a double whammy with Ohio State running all this clock, because 1, it keeps Michigan from getting the ball back, and 2, if they do score, they can run a whole bunch of time, which just limits the amount of available real estate left in this game to put points on the board.
Yeah, and that, of course, that was one of the big things that came into play in the 4th grade game. Hold that thought. Now a pitch back now. I believe it's Clark who has it. He's got the first down and more up to about the 30. So he gets about the 12 or 13 there. Yeah, Air Force came out of the locker room for the second half of the 4th grade game. They were trailing by 1 point, but they consumed 6 minutes and 47 seconds on the opening drive of the half to take the lead, and they held the lead the rest of the way. So, yeah, if Ohio State gets a touchdown on this drive, then they clearly are in the driver's seat there after Clark now moves over the 100-yard mark for the game. And now, handoff again. Pass that's Sponseller, and he might have a first. He's going to be real close. He's down to about down to the 21. Yes, he does have the first, so they give him exactly 10 yards there. So 11 for 76 for Sponseller, 12 for 104, and a touchdown for Clark. Ohio State could easily be up by 3 touchdowns. They're only up by 1, but trying to change that here. Got one receiver out to the right, but likely it'll be one of the 2 running backs that gets it. And now he does, and he takes it over to the right side. Knocked out of bounds around the 17. That was Sponseller again. And it's been extremely even. 12 carries for each of these 2 young men. So 24 carries, 184 yards, and a touchdown for this dynamic duo for the Buckeyes. Maybe they'll be playing together for Hamilton Southeastern or Fishers High School in a few years, or maybe they'll be, on the opposite teams. We'll see. 2nd and 6 at the 17 now. And now it's a handoff to Clark. He's got some room on the left side. He's inside the 15, inside the 10. He's got the first down, and he's stubbornly stays up, finally goes down around the 7. So a pickup of about 10 yards there for Varshawn Clark.
Yeah, I really thought when he got that corner he was going to be able to go the distance, Leck, but nice job by a Michigan tackler to get him from behind.
Yes, and Clark, he did have the fumble, but that's the only blotch on what otherwise has been a stellar game. 13 rushes, 114 yards, and a touchdown. 1st and goal at the 7 for the Buckeyes now. They've consumed nearly half of this 3rd quarter already. 4:05 to go and counting. And now we've got the play whistle dead here.
False start going to be called against Ohio State.
So a little bit of a break there for Michigan. There's not had a lot of breaks today. The Wolverines have put up only 26 yards of offense compared to 194 for the Buckeyes. And you have that kind of discrepancy most of the time. You're going to be down at least 2, more likely 3 or 4 possessions, but the Buckeyes still only 8 points down. So they just need a break here. Ohio State obviously has a game plan that works on both sides of the ball. And now another. So 2 penalties in a row for the Buckeyes, and now all of a sudden they've gone from 1st and goal at the 7 to 1st and goal at the 17. So Michigan, if they're going to have any chance to win, they almost have to capitalize on this. Nevertheless, the Buckeyes have already consumed more than half a quarter here. So this is the 2nd consecutive championship game in which the second half started off with a drive that consumed more than half the quarter. Of course, Air Force consumed more than 3/4 of the quarter. So now, 1st and 10 at the 17, pitch back, takes it over to the right side, looks for some room, gets inside the 15, gets inside the 10, and he's brought down about where the series of downs began. So that was Sponseller again, picked up about 10 there, so it'll be 2nd and goal. So 13 carries by each of the 2 guys. 114 yards for Clark and 90 for Sponseller. So we very well could have 2 100-yard rushers in this game for Ohio State. 2nd and goal at the 7 now. So we got Sponseller and Clark lined up in the backfield as usual. We have one wide receiver out to the right the ball hasn't even been thrown to him. So now handoff to Clark. He's inside the 5, and he's brought down about the 4, so it'll bring up 3rd down, 3 minutes to go now and counting here.
It's interesting. The Michigan squad really has held up well here down around the goal line, not letting them in yet. And then, of course, they forced that fumble at the end of the first half, so they're making Ohio State earn it.
Yeah, and even if Ohio State does not get the score here, they've consumed, over 5/8 of the quarter already and counting. So, overall, it's been a very good drive for Ohio State, regardless of what happens from here. So now pitch back, takes it over to the right side. They swarm him, but he's dives forward. He might, yes, Sponsiller with the touchdown.
He got in. Boy, what a great second effort that time. Just hopped right up over the goal line and got in.
Yes, indeed.
And that's a big score in the game, as it'll put them up 2 scores, currently 14-0 with 2:20 left to go in the third quarter.
Yes, indeed. So, and it's appropriate that, those two guys each has 14 carries in the game. It's incredible that it's been that even. And, so it was appropriate that after Clark got his touchdown, that Sponsiller got his too. So now let's see what they do with this with this conversion here. First one, they're really going for the dagger. They're going for another 2-point conversion from the 5. And this time he throws it into the end zone, and it is caught again. Who was that?
Number 80.
Yeah, so Sponsiller. So both times Sponsiller catches a ball for a 2-point conversion. So it's 16-0. Michigan in big trouble with 2:20 to go here in the third quarter, trailing 16-0. They need not only 2 touchdowns, but 2 successful 2-point conversions.
Yeah, you're basically 3 scores down at this point.
Yeah. So the only balls thrown in this game were the 2-point conversions, and they were both completed to the running back Sponsiller.
Yeah, so obviously a big chore ahead for Michigan now, as Ohio State clearly in the driver's seat in this one.
Very fast-paced game. I believe the first snap was at 4:03 or 4:04, only 4:51 now. 2:20 to go in the game. Michigan, only 26 yards of total offense so far. They got to get something going here. Tambasco has been their most successful player so far. He has 6 carries for 17 yards. And now a handoff there, and it's going to be, that's Wofford there. He gets about 3. And they gave him credit for 2 there. 6 for 8 for Wofford, 2nd and 8. The Wolverines only 1 first down in the game. They do have a wide receiver lined up to the left, but the ball has not been thrown to him. There's not been 1 pass in the game except for on 2-point conversions. And now that's Tambasco, who picks up about 1. So bringing up another dreaded 3rd and long for Michigan. And they give him credit for 2 yards there. 3rd and 6 now. Michigan's got to get something going here. Very little variance in the formations of either team today in this final game. Under a minute to go in the third quarter now. And now they're going to pass here. The screen pass, and he catches it, but he dropped it.
Yeah, big hit there by Max Sosna.
So that was the first pass in the game, incomplete. 4th and 6. Will they declare a punt, or will they?
No, they're going to go for it. Down basically 3 scores at this point in the ball game. They're
almost have to go for it here.
And I like these officials taking matters into their own hands. Wind that clock, even though it was an incomplete pass. You wind that clock. Those guys are cold and want to go home.
Yeah, yes.
Official discretion, as we call it in the business. We see that quite a bit at the freshman and JV level.
And now they throw deep, and it is caught. It's caught for a gain of about 20 yards there. Boy, did they ever need that desperately. That was Jordan Kinder there with a 20-yard, a 16-yard reception.
Yeah, nice pitch and catch there that time by the Michigan tandem, and that may be the final play of the third quarter.
Yeah, 15 seconds to go. They break huddle now. They are in Buckeye territory. Let's see what they do now that they're there. I think they're going to have to go to the air quite a bit in this game. 3 seconds now. 2, 1. Did they get it off? Apparently so. They're not whistling it dead. Nevertheless,
Probably wish they hadn't got it off now.
yes. Yeah. So, after 3 quarters of play in the last game of our triple header, Ohio State looks like they're on their way to winning the grade 5 and 6 championship here in the city of Fishers. Your score, Ohio State 16, Michigan 0. 8 minutes to play to determine the championship. Michigan still with one slight chance. They're in Ohio State territory, 2nd and 11 at the 41, following the first completed pass of the game that gave them a little bit of momentum and a little bit of life on offense. So let's see now if they're able to finally establish enough offense to get back in this game. They need not only 2 touchdowns but 2 successful 2-point conversions, and with only 8-minute quarters, and with Ohio State having a dominating 2-man rushing attack of Varshawn Clark and Sam Sponseller, Michigan's going to have to get, 2 or 3 really big plays here. Anyway, it's been a great afternoon of football. We've had 3 games for you, crowning champions in grades 3, in grade 3, grade 4, and now we're about to do it in grades 5 and 6. So 11 quarters down, 1 to go. 4:56 your time of day. This is a great annual event here in the city of Fishers, in the youth leagues in which they prepare these kids to move up the ladder to play in a few years in the Hamilton, Southeastern, and Fishers systems. Of course, next year these kids are going to go on to middle school and they'll be playing 7th grade ball. Well, some of them will be in 6th grade next year, but the 6th graders will be moving into 7th grade ball. And obviously, these are 2 of the stellar marquee programs here in Indiana high school football, Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern, each with a state championship, each frequently ranked in the top 10. Each of them plays in the 2nd best conference in the state, the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. 2nd and 11 now as we start the 4th and final quarter here. So now Johnson looks back. He's got some room to run. He takes it up to the 35. He could get the first. He does, and he dodges a tackler inside the 25, inside the 20, and he's up to about the 23. And that was Tambasco here, by far the longest play, by far the longest rush of the game for Michigan. Boy, did they need that. He takes it 25 yards.
Those were some moves, Leck.
Yes. And just like you go back to the first game where we had Tappendorf in the 3rd grade game. He had the first play of the 3rd grade game was probably the most spectacular play of the whole bonanza today. Although that was outstanding too. He broke several tackles. Looks like he wanted to take the game over himself. So now a handoff there to Wofford. He picks up about 3. So now all of a sudden Ohio State, a little, reminder that they can't just lay down yet. They got to, still bring it on defense, because this game isn't over yet. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and all of a sudden, it's a one possession game here, and then Michigan would just need to get 1 stop, so we might have a thriller of a finish after all. Now handoff there. And we've got, I believe that was Wofford again. He gets, I believe, inside the 10. So Grady Wofford now, his best 2 gains are his last 2 rushes. He was really stuffed on most of his early drives. So 3rd and 5 now for the Wolverines. Very critical play here. And now we got the play is whistled dead.
Yeah, that's exactly what Michigan didn't want there on a 3rd and 5. Now it's a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, that's right. And so now for basically an offense that's had 2 very good plays today, you hate to give up any yards at all. 6:05 to go and counting. The Buckeyes need 2 touchdowns and 2 successful 2-point conversions. So they line up with Wofford and Tambasco as the running backs. Goshorn, the wide receiver. Johnson, the quarterback. And he throws into the end zone. He dropped it. He bobbled it and dropped it. He might have fallen into the end zone for the touchdown had he gotten it. As it is now, now the Wolverines down to their, very possibly their last chance. 4th and 9 at the 16. 5:42 to go. If they do not get a touchdown here, then Ohio State can really just get very conservative and keep in mind with those 2 running backs. Very unlikely Michigan would be able to to stop them enough to win the game. So now Johnson throws into the end zone and it is incomplete. 2 guys were fighting over it, 1 for each team. So all 4 passes that Johnson has thrown were on that drive. He completed 1 of them for 16 yards to help move the chains. And then Tambasco got a 25-yard rush, but then Michigan died there. And now Ohio State takes over at their own 16, 5:35 to go, all but having clinched the title now. The margin of victory in the first game was 21. Margin of victory in the second game, 14. Ohio State leading this one by 16. The clock running, 5:25 to go now. I'd imagine they'll keep on giving it to and yeah, they do, yeah, and he's got some room here, 30, 35, and he could go all the way. Yes, this will be an 84-yard touchdown rush. Oh, my God, that's Clark, Varshawn Clark, taking it 84 yards to put the exclamation point in this championship for Ohio State. Oh, my God. So Varshawn Clark, 15 rushes, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'd say he's redeemed himself for his fumble now. Oh, my God, unbelievable. And the overall numbers on Ohio State, 29 rushes, 295 yards. So they're averaging a little over 10 yards a rush on the game. And that's how you win championships. What a treat to cover these 2 young men, and I will definitely be remembering those names, Varshawn Clark and Sam Sponseller. With a first name like Varshawn and a last name like Sponseller, that's gonna make your name stand out a lot more too. So, and now we got a whistle here. Now keep in mind, Ohio State has not thrown a pass in this game. However, on their first 2 conversions, there was a pass completed to Sponseller successfully. But now they're only going for the 1-point conversion after the penalty. It's going to be done from the 8. 5 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Our 12th and last quarter of the game. Ohio State about to win the championship here, a much-deserved championship. They have played almost a perfect game. I would say A+, if not for the 1 fumble they lost and the turnover on downs. Other than that, it's just been flawless as far as I can see. And now they got the 2-point conversion. So Bennett Lindberg, or as we say in Sweden, Lindberg, gets the 1-point conversion there. Glad I got to call that name. And by the way, and as the score is 23, I happen to speak some Swedish, and Lindberg means winding mountain. You know, a lot of Swedish names actually have their origin in nature. But anyway, back to the action here. Michigan State now trailing by 23 with 5 minutes and 4 seconds to go into the game. Just trying to finish the season on a positive note. This has been total domination here by the Buckeyes. the first two games were very tight for a half, and then one team pulled away and dominated the second half. This game, the Buckeyes really dominated throughout. It's just that they had the 2 turnovers in the first half that made it only 8-0 at the half. But, it was clear that Ohio State was the better team here. Michigan State has competed hard. They just have not, they've clearly been overmatched. And so now Johnson, keeper, and he gets up for about 3 or 4. But I imagine that Ohio State is just going to try to take away the big play as Johnson gets credit for 4 yards there. 4:28 to go and counting. It's been an exciting afternoon of football here at TCU Field on the campus of Hamilton Southeastern High School up here in the lovely community of Fishers. 2nd and 6 now for the Wolverines. Ohio State will win the championship. They lead 23-0, 4:05 to go. And now rush, and he's got something past midfield up to the 40. That was Grady Wofford with by far his longest gain. He was 9 for 12 prior to that. They give him credit for 16 on that. So Michigan finally starting to hit it straight on offense, but much too late to save this game. They did a good job hanging in as long as they did. They had a couple of breaks that they took advantage of and to keep Ohio State from running away until, these last few minutes. 3:38 to go and counting. Ohio State 23, Michigan 0. And now, oh my God, that was a vicious hit. So Sponseller having a terror of a game and adding a quarterback sack to it as well. He really hammered Johnson there, putting a second exclamation point on the Ohio State championship. The first being that 84-yard touchdown rush by Varshawn Clark. Johnson has thrown 5 passes in this game, all of them on the last 2 drives, as Michigan got desperate for any offense they could get. And now, let's see, so about a 1-yard rush there. Okay, that was Johnson, okay. So Johnson gets 1 yard there on that rush. And, it's just interesting to see Sponseller, excel on both sides of the ball. And it'll be interesting to see, as he gets into, middle school ball, if they just start, because when he's playing for Fishers or Hamilton Southeastern, those are they have such big rosters, likely he'll only be playing one position, or at the very least not playing both sides of the ball. And now Johnson takes it over on the left side, and he gets about 2 or 3. That'll bring up 4th down with 2:31 to go and counting. But it'll be interesting to see, if they specialize Sponsell as a running back, as a defensive guy. I would have to think, he would be primarily a running back as good as he's been at that position. But then again, sometimes you get to a program like Fishers or Hamilton Southeastern, and they might have 3 or 4 other stellar running backs. And so, but at the same time, they might not have a whole lot of people who are good in another position that he's good at. So, we'll wait and see. It's interesting to watch these kids develop over the years, and that's, one of the reasons I'm so glad that we get to do these games every year and get to look at the distant future of a couple of, very fine programs that I always enjoy commentating. So now, 4th down, and he doesn't get it. He's brought down for a gain of about 2 yards. It's Tambasco there, picks up about 2. I have him 9 carries for 46 yards. So Ohio State takes over. They will likely run out the clock here. 1:33 to go in the game. And up to now, by the way, 29 plays from scrimmage for the Buckeyes, 15 carries for Clark, 14 for Sponseller. So, anyway, 1:23 to go. And now it looks like we got a new guy in there. And he picks up 1 or 2 yards. Let's see, who was that? That was 17 for Ohio State. That is Lath Alquad. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to butcher this name. Alcawalda. That's my best guess. Alcawalda. Lath Alcawalda, nicknamed Fresh. Maybe I'll just call him Fresh. He picks up 2 yards there on his first carry of the game. As we now get a look at the second string for Ohio State of their rushers. And we got another guy with his first carry there. But, back, for the first 4 years of my commentary career, I frequently commentated a superstar running back by the name of Tokes Akinrabade. I finally got his name correct, so if this guy becomes a star, I'll certainly get his name right too. Alcawalda is my educated guess. So 16 seconds left, likely the last play of this game. And he's brought down for a short gain, and that will be it. So Ohio State gets the championship. They beat Michigan 23-0 in dominating fashion, a game that wasn't even as close as the final score indicates. And also, not only congratulations to the Buckeyes for winning the 5th and 6th grade championship, but also earlier today, congratulations to Notre Dame. They beat Michigan State 41-20 for the 3rd grade championship. And then Air Force beat Navy 27-13 to win the 4th grade championship. And finally, we cap off the youth championships here in Fishers with Ohio State beating Michigan 23-0 for the 5th and 6th grade championships.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us today. Lek, outstanding job.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For all the folks at the Mudsock Youth Football League for inviting us out and inviting us to be a part of it. Thank you for all the fine folks who did such a great job putting this tournament on, to the officials, and thank you for those of you at home for watching. So again, your winners today: Notre Dame in the 3rd grade game, Air Force in the 4th grade game, and Ohio State in the 5th and 6th grade game. Thank you again for joining us today. He's Lex Zorn, I'm Rob Kendall. Have yourself a great weekend.